Priscilla Stevens Goldfarb. I was a teacher in a secondary school on Kako Hill outside of Masaka, Uganda from 1965 to 1967. And Peace Corps really changed my life and has determined really the path that I took in life, working in the nonprofit field up until my retirement. Although I have a lot of wonderful stories to tell about the time I was there, probably one of the happiest moments of my life was returning to Uganda and meeting up with a former student of mine in Kampala. I found him after all the troubles that Uganda had been through by simply opening up the telephone directory, finding his name, and dialing his number. We met for breakfast and connected also with a few others of my former students. And it's quite something for a teacher who rarely sees what becomes of her students to see them grown with their own families, with careers of their own, and doing very well. I also went back to my school and was so happy to see after nearly 40 years that the African History Library that we started while I was teaching there is still going strong and is now being supported by an alumni group of the school.
I'm David Clausen. I was in Uganda from 66 to 68, and I was stationed on Mount Elgon in the Sabay country.
Hi, my name is Andrea Westman Bardock. I was in Uganda from 1969 through 1971, and I lived in a village called Boro, which is in the north, not too far outside of Lira.
Hi there, I'm Alan Olson. I'm a very proud returned Peace Corps volunteer. I was in Uganda with my wife Kathy in 70 and 72. We were down in the southwest Ankole district at a school called the Chitunga High School, and I was teaching math and physics, and my wife was teaching English and biology, and very much enjoyed the time. That was unfortunately during the Idi Amin time, so it got bad enough where Peace Corps decided to pull us out, and we landed in Ethiopia. And Peace Corps actually was very good at saying it's been a tough time, and so once.
My name is Kay Tally Crossman Clifford. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Uganda, and I was there from October 69 through 71. As I recall, when Idi Amin first came in, people just hunkered down. Idi Amin came in, and the British recognized him because he had had some training at Sandhurst. So we were edgy, and then it seemed to be all right. It seemed to be all right for a while, but it really wasn't in our area. Then the soldiers started coming around. They'd pick the teachers up. They'd take people down to the bridge and shoot them and throw them in the water down there. When it got most threatening, we had soldiers on the roads with machine guns, and I had to have Sister Olga write me a different letter every day on a different piece of color paper so they would know that it was a different color paper to show them, because I was staying at the time with my husband in the school over there, so I would drive over every morning to my school, and I'd be stopped every morning, and they'd open the door with a machine gun, and you had to have this paper. It was very nerve-wracking doing this, because the gun could have gone off, or they could have gotten angry, and people would get stopped by squads on the way down to Kampala, and people were asked if they were Zionist spies in Idi Amin's time. So it became really nerve-wracking. You never knew how you would be treated. Some people got beaten up. We weren't allowed to finish the tour. People had to go home. And when I left, when the people in the school knew I was leaving and I hadn't told them, the girls were just so sorry. They brought me all these tablecloths, and I felt terrible because all their teachers were leaving, see, and their education was going to go down the tube. In the end, they went around and got everybody out. They drove around and pulled everybody out in the end. I'm sure they had a plan, but if they had a plan, we didn't know about it. This was supposed to be a quiet leaving, and when they came to pick me up, here comes this big white station wagon, 2 big American flags flying like this, and I was at my husband's house, and everybody on the compound was saying, "What on earth are they doing?" We were kept in Kampala because nobody told us, but our speculation was that they weren't being allowed to buy the tickets because it was becoming obvious that this large group of Peace Corps volunteers was leaving. And when we were in the bar, locals would ask us, you know, "Are you Peace Corps? Are you leaving? Why are you leaving us? What have we done?"
My name is Vinay D'Souza. I served in Uganda for 2 years. I started in February of 2008, and training was 2 months, 8 weeks. It was actually the shortest training that they're allowed to do, and they stopped doing that because Washington said that's too short. So now they're doing 10 weeks again. So then I served 2 years after that. I left at the end of March of 2010. So I've been home about 6 months now. Yeah, and I'm keeping in touch with some of the students on email and stuff, and teachers and other people in Uganda.
Hey, I'm Kathy. I live in Minnesota, and I was in Uganda from March of 2008 to March of 2010. And I lived in a town called Nkoko Njiro, which means white chicken, because they used to sacrifice white chickens there at a big tree in the old days. But
my name is Casey O'Connell. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Uganda from 2008 to 2010. I was a secondary education volunteer working at a secondary school just outside of Kampala.